is up, good people? Jungling here. Hope you're doing well. The election is over. Trump has won. And I'm glad we're by all that because it's all the news and it's not really a subject I like talking a lot about. Not a huge fan of politics, but it affected crypto in a big way. What we know now is it's going to be a lot easier in the crypto space. A lot more hands off from regulators. Now, never forget the SEC is still the SEC and the government is the government. They're not our friends. We are still going to be in an adversarial position as crypto enthusiasts. But our path forward, until we get clear regulations, it's just going to be a lot more hands off, a lot easier. And anyone would tell you that. Unless you're delusional like Chris Larson, you can make arguments on who would eventually be better. But the easier path, no doubt, is the one that we got. There's going to be a lot less likelihood of new enforcement actions being launched, aggressive maneuvers versus the crypto space, Operation Choke Point 2.0, all this kind of stuff should ease up quite a bit. Now, what happens with the ongoing cases? Because again, it's still the SEC. They're not going to burn everything they're working on. We'll talk about specifically the Ripple case here in a little bit, but we're going to have to see that play out. And remember this, it's going to take time. What you'll likely see is at the end of this year, maybe December, much like Clayton, Gensler's going to step down. He has no interest in working with President Trump or under his administration. Likely, again, you don't know till it happens. But once he steps down, it's going to have to take till well past the inauguration to get a new SEC chair that's going to really set the tone going forward. There's definitely going to be shakeups at the SEC that we know. This sets the stage nicely for what is a likely 2025 bull run as this space erupts and goes through its next growth phase. I really look for ETH to lead the charge. Look for that moment when you see really Ethereum start to pick up the pace. That'll let you know it's time to rock and roll for altcoins. I think that will be an initial indicator there. Also, what this sets up, you saw a lot of people filing for ETFs. I think those were a call option on the outcome of this election. And so we're probably going to get more ETFs approved. And that also goes, of course, for XRP, what most people, in this audience care about. Now, the product that I want to see go through is not the XRP only ETF. I don't think initially, at least, there's going to be a ton of demand there. Now, that's something that could grow in popularity over time. But initially, a basket product I think would be very popular. You have a big investor that maybe doesn't want to figure out the altcoin space or doesn't totally understand it. And with one ETF wrapper, they can get Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a basket of top altcoins like XRP, Solana, and Avalanche, stuff like that. I think that will be very popular. And, XRP will get a lot of that money that's flowing into that ETF. It'll probably be market cap weighted. I did a video about such a product that Grayscale is trying to get through the door, and it looks like they very well may. So that would be, to me, a big one and a popular product. Post-election, we saw Bitcoin hit new all-time highs, $75,395. Remember this, December 2020, it took us for Bitcoin during that cycle to break its all-time high. So even on this rebound this time around, where you had that ETF FOMO really pushing Bitcoin, pushing Ethereum, that FOMO had subsided a little bit. Not that Bitcoin and Ethereum's price came cratering down, but we weren't still pushing upwards. It looks like we're going to continue on from here and still a little ahead of schedule. Does this continue for this whole cycle? Will we see altcoins start to really make big moves earlier than they did last time around? Only time will tell. We only care that it happens, though, not the precise timing. Raul Paul, expectations are that Ethereum will now start outperforming Bitcoin, and I agree that's highly likely. That from here to the top, Ethereum will likely outperform BTC. I did buy some extra Ethereum for that reason, and I think it's going to be a leader here. But with this, allocation to Ethereum, my plan is to try to roll that back into something else at some point in time. I did that last run, buying Ethereum and then rolling it to XRP with great success. Maybe I'll get the chance to do that with something this time around as well. If not, don't mind holding Ethereum long term. He thinks that Solana and Sui are both going to outperform Ethereum in their high growth stage of adoption, which could yield stronger performance. And again, neither of those two things would surprise me. Of course, if you overshoot the bull market, Ethereum's probably more stable, and you get crushed once again. We know how this market kind of works, but definitely from this point to the top, I would not be surprised to see Sui and Solana, outperform Ethereum in terms of percentage gain. Probably going to happen here. I see a lot of people talking about FLR. It's lagging behind the market. There's a lot of success out there, and FLR just isn't hitting the mark as of yet. Doesn't surprise me at all. This is a newer ecosystem. It doesn't have those big names behind it, those Raw Pauls, those big VCs pumping it, but it has significant listings already. It's on very big exchanges. I think Binance will add it before this bull run is over. There's a good grassroots community that's built around it, and I would think this would be kind of mid-cycle for altcoins. When things are going crazy, that's when you'll see FLR erupt. I'm not worried at all. I think it's going to do quite good. I just don't think it's going to lead the way. One of those first coins that really explode, out of this part of the cycle and into the funny zone for crypto, specifically altcoins. And, I see a lot of people that say, well, I got XRP, I got Flare, and I got XLM. Like, that's their holdings. And those are all good cryptocurrencies, but typically, at least for XRP and XLM, they're a little bit later to run. So you got to be careful about that. You don't want to be sitting on your hands for most of the bull run, not getting any gains. It's a little bit less enjoyable for that reason. But FLR lagging behind doesn't bother me at all. Lastly, Fred Rispoli, he feels that a Donald Trump victory has changed things for the Ripple appeal timeline. He does also bring up what I said. It's going to take some time to get a new chairperson in there. They're going to have a lot of stuff to deal with. Crypto may not be number one. But, again, he thinks this is a more favorable environment to see an appeal. We're going to have to see exactly how things fall out. Who is the chair? Who are the SEC commissioners? And kind of what's going to be their approach to the space, kind of cleaning things up. We'll have to see. But in my mind, Ripple is primed to settle things out because for a couple of reasons. Number one, you already have a clear ruling from a judge. Probably not a lot of value allocating massive resources to this appeal when you already have a very clear ruling. The SEC won on a lot of important issues. Ripple won on all the issues they needed. It's like they can kind of both live with that. Let's move on. Unless you're just trying to do outright damage to the space or you are trying to classify the tokens themselves as securities, which you can try all day long, don't mean you're going to get it done. But if that's not your goal, then I think, you either drop this appeal, which would be perfectly appropriate, or you bring Ripple to the table, even better, and get some sort of settlement, something concrete in writing both sides are comfortable moving forward with. That would be absolutely the best. And it could happen. I'm not saying it will. Again, remember that timing. It's going to take a while to get a chairperson. It's going to take a while to get everything set at the SEC. But if you get this thing signed, sealed, and delivered, some sort of settlement or a drop of the appeal, that could be a big lift for XRP. It could really outperform. I think it's already going to do just fine, even if this appeal goes forward. But if you get something like that in the middle of a bull run, what you saw when this case concluded was nothing. You weren't in a growth phase. Money wasn't pouring in here. But that would be incredibly bullish. And I think it could happen. Now, I'm not going to sit around and wait for it to happen. If I'm seeing price appreciation, I feel we're kind of getting towards the end. I'm not going to be sitting back going, okay, this thing's going to be settled out any minute. But if it happens in time, it could really give us a huge lift. Sure hope to see that. From that point, after that, we just want to see regulations start the rollout. Probably will be stable coins first. That's fine. Then they're going to have to do the classification of the assets, DeFi, all sorts of stuff. Let's get going. Let's get something passed. I don't care what's first. Let's start making some progress. I expect that probably happens later in the year. It's going to take some time to get that ball rolling, but hopefully they can make progress. You start getting clear rules, and then it's not just your BlackRocks offering investment products or your Fidelities, offering ETFs. But people will start to build systems to use this technology as it was designed to do. And that's a totally different world than anything we've seen yet. You have a lot of really, interesting building going on out there, but you start having BlackRocks launch, stock exchanges, autonomous stock exchanges built on blockchain technology, or, your Apples or your Amazons incorporating this into their payment flows and all sorts of stuff. When that starts to happen, it's a totally different universe because it's the best of both worlds. You have easy access to the investment for everyone, and you have clear rules so your heavy hitters can build with it as a tool. That's the point of this. And that's where we're going. It's going to take some time, of course, but I think things are set up perfectly. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.